Hey folks, Dave here, and welcome back to the Backyard Battlefield. This is my real-world firearms series, and it's been a while. And today, I have a really cool interview with Amelia and Shane. Shane is Ultra Grunt on YouTube, for those that aren't aware. And it's about their first time going target shooting back in July with the Casual Shenanigans Gaming crew. We're going to talk about that first time target shooting, and you guys will get to enjoy some footage from that day there in the background. Let's roll that interview. Joining me this time on the Backyard Battlefield is Amelia and Shane, two good friends who visited back in the summertime when I should have been working in this video, not here in October. What's up, guys?
Hey.
What's up?
So for both of you guys, it was your first time doing any kind of target shooting, am I right?
That's correct.
Yep, that's right.
So, of course, we went right to the shotgun.
Well, we used the 22 rifle.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't actually go right to the shotguns.
Yeah.
Jeremiah loves doing that, but when I'm around, I'm like, you know what? Let's not totally sour everyone's first experiences target shooting. Let's actually have some fun first, and then we can do dangerous things. But for both of you guys, like, no experience at all before this?
Nope. Unless you count House of the Dead.
I had some clay pigeon shooting experience from when I was like 8 or something, because my whole mom's side of the family hunts and stuff, but I don't know, I was always like super afraid because of the loud noises, but I did a little bit of it and I was like, ugh. I got a little freaked out and like have not touched a gun since then. So, yep, I'd consider that starting.
So, did you guys do any kind of researching before you went shooting with us, or did you just trust us to give you guys what you needed to know to get started and to do so safely?
I trusted you guys because I've seen enough of the stuff you've put out, and I know a little bit about gun safety, enough to know that you guys know what you're talking about. Like, obviously number one is don't point it at anybody and wave it around.
Very important.
I knew some of the basics from just in general, just from learning about guns and like how people use them. I saw your videos a long time ago. It was like one of them you did on like gun safety, and I remembered most of it. So,
Yeah.
but
There you go.
you guys just refreshed everything anyway.
The thing that surprised me is like how much you do hammer into us, like don't put your finger on the trigger, and yet you still do it. I don't know why, like mentally you're like, okay, I'm not supposed to do this, and it happens anyway. Like,
You know, I think it's got to be just because, like, first of all, you know, like, that's how the gun works. Like, to make it do its job,
Yeah.
you got to put your finger on the trigger. And then, you know, the way that any gun is shaped, it's like a natural place for your finger to go because it's supposed to be comfortable to shoot. Like, it's, you know, part of the design. So it is natural for your finger just to go right to that trigger. I know for me, when I bought my first gun, you know, I did tons of research ahead of time, and I knew you keep your finger off the trigger, and yet still it took like conscious look at the gun, look at your finger, pay attention. It took months of like forcing myself to pay 100% attention before it was muscle memory. Like it took a while for sure.
yeah.
I was okay with it. I was, for the most part, I was remembering to keep it off the trigger. Like when it was down by my side, it was always off the trigger. But if it was in front of me, I'd have it off the trigger until I was ready to shoot for most of the time.
I mean, the main thing was that no one had to hit the deck the entire day, so that was nice. Like, no one shot a target and then like spun around. Do you guys see that? And everyone's like on the ground, belly crawling. I see it. Point back down. Right. There was none of that, thankfully.
Alright, so what you doing? You loading it up with some electrocuting bullets?
These here is a 50 cal.
Oh, it's a 50 cal. 50 cal electrocuting bullets? Oh man. Shoot down them robots.
For transformers.
Oh, the transformers.
Did you guys actually have any kind of like your own personal interest in learning about firearms, or was it just like kind of like when you're doing the whole tourism thing and it's available and you're like, yeah, I'll try something new?
Well, for me, it's less obviously about tourism since I'm American, but
Well, yeah.
and well, definitely getting to blow stuff up was cool because that's not really something I can do where I live in the city. But
That'd be kind of awkward.
kind of awkward.
Oh, do they frown on that?
just a little. But I don't know, like I've haven't touched a gun in like forever, and I was like,
Right.
you know, not like afraid of them, but I was like, I should at least have this experience just as a general life thing, even if I don't end up liking it. And yeah, it was pretty cool. It wasn't like, I don't know, it wasn't like life-changing, but it was pretty cool. You know, I'm glad I did it.
That's what I was
Would do
hoping
again.
for. Let's try Shane.
For me, I've always had sort of an interest in guns, especially with it not being a thing over here. If you're going to get like a license of any kind, you can get one for a shotgun if you're like a farmer or something.
Right.
But then you get like constantly checked every like few months to like come to check up on you to make sure you're not like having mental issues or anything. And it takes a long time to get the license to be able to buy a gun over here. So I was I was always sort of interested in it anyway, just from playing games and watching movies and stuff. Yeah, like it was a good opportunity while I was over there to like get my hands on a gun and do some target shooting.
Yeah.
There it goes! No, it didn't blow up! Cool.
The gummy bear is dead.
No, it didn't blow up!
Oh my god! Is it still in one piece?
What the heck?
Oh my god!
Oh no.
How did it survive?
It's not even hurt!
How is that even?
What on earth?
Oh my god! This is an
For the
SCP
record,
project.
we've used that to blow apart stumps before. This is why you should never eat these.
The gummy bear's not belong for this world.
You know what he's really saying. I'm the spawn of Satan. You can't kill me. Boys ain't gonna hurt me, bitches.
What? Yeah, it was going
Gel,
right
it just
through.
goes right through.
Back ye Satan! Die! Dave, I've got Buck.
Let's finish this, Jeremiah.
I want body armor made out of this. Help me!
It's just getting worse and worse.
I never asked for this. James, how do you like the weather?
I use my monster hands.
This is a question that I love asking people this when I take them target shooting for the first time, because you kind of go into it like with your expectations from movies and from games and stuff. But for each of you guys, what was the main thing that caught you by surprise when you went target shooting for the first time?
How, even though I know it was only like from holding the pistol and holding the other guns, it's like, you know, they're not that heavy, but they feel pretty heavy. And I don't know, especially with a pistol, since you're holding your arms out.
Oh yeah, it's a really weird angle to like extend your arms to.
Yeah, it just doesn't, it feels weirder than you think it's going to feel. And yeah, I was expecting the kickback to be a lot worse than it was, so I was almost like afraid of it and afraid it was just gonna fly out my hands. But obviously everything was fine.
Nice.
But
So the recoil was actually less than you were expecting. Wow.
yeah, it was less. I had like a death grip on the pistol the first time, and then I was like, what was I even?
Well, that might have been why it wasn't as bad as you were expecting.
Yeah,
You were like your own bipod.
pretty much.
I was surprised about the weight of the guns, like the pistol, for example. I was very surprised with how weighty it was compared to what I thought. And like when I had the 22 rifle, it was like, oh, this didn't feel very heavy compared to what I thought it'd feel like. Same with the shotgun. But
that 22 rifle was like all plastic.
Yeah.
it's just the barrel, the bolt, and then a lot of plastic.
but the recoil was about what I thought it was, just because playing games, it's very similar. I found, like, for example, Battlefield got like the 1911 recoil exactly right. Like when I was firing down sights with the 1911, it just felt like it was in the game where it sort of just recoiled to the right, top right a bit. Sort of, if you get what I mean, it pulls up into the right. And it was really cool to see that, like, from that perspective, because that is something I didn't think they would get in games, get exactly right.
I imagine they did a lot of research.
Yeah.
At least initially.
Yeah, Dice has like a gun range right there near their offices in Stockholm, and they go there all the time and actually have like their designers and modelers shoot all the guns. The one that I always share for when I first started target shooting, I started shooting at an indoor range because it was the only thing available. And so what stuck with me, well, besides the fact that indoors, like the sound, of course, is amplified and echoey and awful.
Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah, it was loud enough outside. I can only imagine.
Yeah, if you guys thought it was loud out there at the ranch in the open field, shooting indoors it's just really unpleasant, to be honest. Like, it's not. Suppressors really ought to be like standard under the counter, like, here's a safety device. I'm curious to see what you guys think about this one. What do you guys think that Hollywood, let's just say movies first, gets wrong the most when it comes to firearms, now that you guys have gotten to shoot a whole bunch of different ones?
Reloading.
Yep.
Yeah,
Reloading's a big one.
Yeah, for one, it's not just like instant magic, and yeah, they never like infinite bullets come out of nowhere.
Yeah, there was one scene in The Walking Dead where Herschel on his farm, like the zombies are coming, and he grabs his like pump action shotgun, and there's a sequential set of shots where he must have fired like 20 rounds, and you never see him reload. He's just pump, fire, and he takes out like a wave of zombies and never reloads. It's amazing.
That's incredible. Oh my god.
I think also to get the recoil wrong in a lot of movies. Like, not all of them, but there is a lot where they get recoil really bad. Especially if it's a silly action flick, you know, where it's like one hand in a pistol or something, and it's like recoil accurately.
At all. One-handing two machine guns.
Yeah.
And still taking out targets.
All of the targets.
That and like aiming, because I imagine like you're in a high adrenaline situation, like somebody's coming for you, or like the zombies are coming, whatever. Like you're not gonna have perfect aim, like headshotting everybody. You're gonna be like, oh my god, just like, yeah. It was hard enough to aim not having something come at you.
I think another thing movies and TV get wrong as well is the loudness of the guns, because I mean, even with the ear protection on, when I was firing the AR, my ears would ring for the first few shots. Like, they were just that loud.
Yeah.
My tinnitus that night was real good.
I didn't have any from it, but it was like, you know, the initial like 3 or 4 shots I did, like, it definitely could feel a ring in my ear from it.
Yeah.
A lot of people, when they shoot a short barrel rifle like the ARs, it's, you know, only 16 inches, and it's a very fast, a very loud round. They'll actually double up on the ear protection. They'll do the earplugs and the over-the-ears.
Yeah, I can see why.
That definitely
I
helps.
can see it.
Yeah.
That was a fun gun.
It was very nice to fire that.
All right, well, seeing we're all gigantic nerds here, and we all met through games, I have to ask, for each of you guys, what do you think is the closest game that you play, like, got firearms kind of right, like for sound, hopefully not smell, but like recoil and all that stuff?
I think for me, it was probably one of the more recent Battlefields. I'd say they got a lot of the mechanics right with how it recoils and the sounds. Well, as much as you can hear the sounds through like ear defenders and stuff, but
yeah,
definitely I feel like Battlefield, like DICE do their research and get it just about right. They're probably not as accurate as they make them out to be in Battlefield all the time, but they definitely get a lot of it right, I feel.
Yeah, Battlefield dips like just enough into the like authenticity pool to make it look and feel pretty good without being, you know, super sim.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to defer to Shane on this one. He's more of a shooter player than I am. So,
come on, Amelia. You know that the correct answer for the most authentic guns is obviously Grand Theft Auto.
obviously. or all the James Bond ones with the fake named weapons that are not quite like the real ones.
Oh, exactly. I know that I always nerd out, and you guys aren't going to be surprised at this one, at Arma 3's ballistics. Going into like the editor and like the virtual arsenal and putting down a bipod and firing some shots, and then going out and like watching the color fade as like the velocity bleeds and it like spins and
Yeah.
I love that stuff.
Like it was cool to use the ballistics actually in person as well. You know, like when I was firing the 1911 and also the AR, I was able to like walk in. Like if I missed, I was able to walk in my shots to like hit the bowling pin or like the target that was by the sand. It was like that sand stuff. You could see like where you were hitting there, and then it's like, oh, I'm hitting there. If I aim more to the left or whatever, like you could walk it in very easily. And I think Arma gets that really right.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. The walking and the shots. Yeah, that is very Arma-like. We had a pretty good selection of different firearms out there on our target shoot day. You guys got to try a pretty good amount of those. Of the ones that you did try, what were your favorites?
The first pistol and the AR-15, because the other, the actual, what's it called? Gosh, the 22 rifle, like, it was way too long for my shoulder.
Yeah, it's got a huge stock on it.
And it was super awkward, so I don't think I even fired it, and I just went straight to the AR-15. But I really like the AR-15.
Yeah, I think my favourites were the 1911 and also the 870.
And that, of course, was my Remington 870 12-gauge shotgun, but the one with the full-size stock, right?
Yeah, it definitely felt very nice and weighted to shoot. Like, it was, like, the power of it when you fired it into your shoulder, like, the recoil was very nice. And it didn't feel painful or, like, you know, it didn't feel awkward when it was, like, recoiling back into my shoulder. It felt really nice.
Of course,
to
it helps that I have the the Weaklings gel pad on the end.
Yeah.
I want to be comfortable while taking out the terrorists.
Yeah, it was a fun gun to shoot. And then the 1911 was fun to shoot anyway, because that's, like, probably my favourite pistol besides... I don't know what my other favourite pistol would be. I think 1911...
You can't go wrong with the work of John Moses Browning.
Yeah, I mean...
He approves.
That gun stands the test of time, really.
Well, thank you guys for sharing your first target shooting experiences. I do have one more question for Shane, in particular, coming from the UK. Shane, once you return to the Shire, has anyone asked you about your experiences with target shooting?
Yeah, they have, and some of them have seen it as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I showed one or two people a couple of videos that were on my phone of me shooting. Be like, hey, look at this.
What did your friends think of you being able to go over and target shoot? Like, I'm curious just to hear like what their take on it was.
And some of them were thinking, wait, how did you do that? Like, where did you get the? Who do you know to be able to shoot? I thought it was illegal for outsiders to shoot and stuff like that. And
Central American arms dealers.
yes, it's like find somebody on the black market to bring me out shooting. They thought it was pretty cool that I was able to find it. Like, I've got friends that have all these guns available and like all these targets available, and thought it was pretty cool.
I've gotten to introduce probably 12 or so people to target shooting for the first time, thanks to my access to private land. And the neat part is the reactions are almost always the same, even for people who aren't necessarily interested in firearms or maybe even afraid of them. They all go out and try it out for themselves, and everyone always has a good time and gets to try something new. I thank you guys for sharing your first experiences, and thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.